Hello, everyone. My name is Ken Clifton, and I want to welcome you to CSC-121 Graphical Python Programming here at RCCC. We're really glad that you decided to take this advanced programming class with us. We're one of the few community colleges that offers a cross-platform Python programming class where you can develop GUI applications that run pretty much everywhere. So this is a one-of-a-kind class, really. So let me switch over and share my desktop where we can talk a little bit about how to get around in the class and the structure of the class. So I'm going to do that now. And let me just verify that you're seeing my desktop, and it looks like you are. So, all right, so this is the Blackboard shell for the class. And you can see here as I scroll down that the class is set up pretty much like your other classes that you've had. We have on the left-hand side the menu with the announcements where we are right now. That's what we call our landing page. And then also on the left-hand side, we have these other menu options here. A very important one that I want to point out before we get going with the material for the class is the EVA. EVA stands for Enrollment Verification Assignment. It's behind the Start Here button. That's vital that you do the EVA as soon as possible. You won't be able to see most of the stuff that I'm talking about in this video until you've done the EVA, because the EVA unlocks everything in the class. So I'm going to pop into Start Here and we'll take a look at that. So I clicked on Start Here. You can see that the EVA is the very top thing on the list. So it is a non-graded assignment, meaning we don't use the grade from the EVA to calculate your course grade for this class, but you won't even be able to stay in this class if you don't complete the EVA, the enrollment verification assignment, by the due date. You'll get removed from the class. So I'm going to go ahead and click into the EVA just so you can see how that works. Most of you have done these in the past, unless you're just transferring into RCCC for some reason from another college. So clicking on the enrollment verification assignment, going to click the begin blue button down at the bottom right, and you can see that this is a series of about 4 questions. They are multiple answer questions because they have these boxes to the left of the answers. Even though we don't use this grade, you do need to earn at least 1 point for the EVA assignment in order to be considered entered into this class where you won't get removed. So if you want the highest grade possible, just go down the list here and check every single box. And if you do that, like I'm doing right now, check every single item. Now on my test in the class, you don't have questions where every single one of the multiple answers is gonna be needed on a question. I don't do questions like that. You may have 3 out of 5 or something. But on the EVA, if you just check everything and hit save and submit, then you should be entered in the class. we recommend that you go into My Grades and check to make sure that it does show that you are verified in for your grade. If it shows anything other than verified, contact me and I can reset it where you can do it again. But this is vital that you get the EVA done as soon as possible so that you can see everything in the class. Once you're done answering these questions, hit the blue Save and Submit button down at the bottom right, and you should be good to go. So I'm going to back out of that because I can't do the EVA as an instructor. It messes things up when I do. Okay, so if you want to read about me, if you haven't had another class with me in the past, the faculty information item here on the left-hand side is where you want to go. Let's talk a little bit about this class, looking at the announcement here. And you will see that this class has a prerequisite of CSC-115, or the newer class that replaces CSC-115 is CSC-120, Computing Fundamentals 1. So we will have students that have taken CSC-115, Introduction to Programming and Logic, and we will have students that, after this semester at least, have taken CSC-120, Computing Fundamentals 1. So either one of those two classes, CSC-115 or CSC-120, satisfies the prerequisites to get you into this class. If you haven't taken one of those two classes, you won't have enough knowledge in most cases of Python, the language that we're using in this class, to be able to function in the class. So this class requires a good background in the Python language. If you didn't get at least a B on the as a final grade in CSC-115 or CSC-120, you're going to have a really hard time in this class because we're using a lot of the things that you learned in CSC-120 or CSC-115. So we've already talked about the EVA. You'll notice here this big logo for Qt. That's the toolkit that is cross-platform, meaning it runs on all kinds of different computers. Very, very powerful toolkit that we use with Python to make graphical applications that run everywhere without change. Super cool stuff. There's all kinds of things built into Qt. It has its own libraries for working with databases. So the same database code in Qt to work with a MySQL database also works pretty much without change with a SQLite database or with a Microsoft Access database or UPick. So the only thing that really has to change in that database code is the connection statement. So aside from databases, it does really cool things with threading, and we write multi-threaded programs in this class. Some of my most popular videos on YouTube that have 5,000 or 6,000 views have to deal with multi-threading, writing programs that use all the cores in our newer CPUs. Right now, most folks are writing what we call single-threaded programs because that's all they've been taught. With Qt, we can use that toolkit to make multi-threaded programs. What do I mean by that? Well, if you have an i5, which I'm running an i5 here, it's a brand new computer that I actually built over the summer. This particular computer that I'm making this video on is an 11th generation Intel Core i5. So that means that my CPU in this computer has 12 threads. So it's got 12 different engines basically that can run code. But unless you've taken a class where someone's taught you about how to create a multi-threaded application, you can only run that code on one of those 12 threads. So it's like you've got this airplane that's got 12 engines, but you're only running it on one. So in this class, towards the end, you'll be able to see how to write a program that can spread itself over all those cores to do lots of work quickly rather than using only one of the cores in the computer. Lots of other things that the Qt Tool Kit does for us. It does really nice graphical applications. And that's primarily why we're using it in this class, aside from the fact that it runs on everything: Macs, PCs, Tesla car consoles, printers, watches, phones, you name it. So I hope I've got you enthused about the Qt Tool Kit. It is really cool, really nice addition to Python. So we've talked about the EVA. The next thing that you need to do in this class is the Icebreaker. And we'll talk about the Icebreaker. We can just go ahead and do that right now. So once you've done the EVA, you will be able to get into the course orientation item here in Blackboard. You will not see course orientation. You won't see the schedule of topics until you've done the EVA. So once you've done the EVA, this will be visible to you. Here's the Icebreaker quiz. You can go in and out of this quiz as many times as you want. When you are satisfied that you've answered everything, you can hit the Save and Submit button, and that'll put it out there to be graded. So I'm going to pop into the Icebreaker, and you can see that I'm going to go ahead and click Begin. Now, it mixes these questions up, so you may not have your question one may not be my question one, okay? But this is an example of what you would see in the Icebreaker. And you can see, where is the course syllabus located? So you have to know where that is. Well, course syllabus is behind Start here. I'm going to open up another window into Blackboard so that I can flip back and forth between these things, and we can look at the syllabus. Now, when you click on Start here to get to the syllabus, remember that the syllabus is a little bit buggy, and sometimes when you click on this syllabus link, you may just see a map of the world with a button that says Start Session. If that happens to you, go ahead and click the blue button that says Start Session and give it a few seconds, and it should pop you into the syllabus. Let's see if we can see that little map pop up before it pops me into the syllabus. So there's the map, and it went away really fast. Okay, so you can see here, looking at the syllabus, that there is, if this is a seated class, it's got the time that the class meets, and it's got a link here to join that meeting. This is a class that meets online once a week. So it's got the link to join the meeting. And then it's got my contact information. It's got a link to my website, my personal website, and it's got links for my office hours meetings here as well. So that's one place that you can find my office hours meetings. You can also find them behind the faculty information button over here in Blackboard. There's the faculty information button. So back to our icebreaker. Where's the course syllabus located? It's behind the start here. And so this stuff about testing policies and makeup tests and all that, you can find that information in Blackboard as well, but not on the syllabus. It's actually an item out there in Blackboard. So let's talk a little bit about the where your grade comes from in the class. So you can see here's how things are weighted in the class. So not everything counts the same. The things that are worth the most in the class are your exams and your projects. You can see projects count 30% of your grade, exams count 40%. The final exam counts 10. When you signed up for this class, the first week of class, I key 10 points in automatically. So you have a grade of 10 the moment you start the class. That is 10 points that I give you for academic integrity. What that means is I am giving you 10 points because I assume that you're not going to hand in somebody else's work. There are no group projects in this class. You are supposed to write the programs on your own. If you get help on a program, you need to disclose that to me. There's a place for comments when you submit the assignment. The intention is that every program you wrote on your own without help from somebody else. So if I have 2 students or 3 or 4 that hand in the same project, I will know it. I run everyone's programs through a special set of software that was developed at Stanford University, and that is called MOSS. You can Google it. MOSS stands for Measure of Software Similarity. And it will actually stack the programs up side by side and highlight the lines that are identical. So don't hand in somebody else's work, because I run your work through MOSS. I will pick it up. You will lose 10 points. We're on a 10-point grading scale. That means you will lose almost any possible way of getting an A in the class. It'll drop you a letter grade. Whatever your grade was going to be, you will be dropped down to the next grade below that by losing 10 points. Whatever grade you would have earned otherwise will be a letter grade less than that. So, that's a little bit about the way things are, the way your grade for the class is calculated. So, most of the modules in the class, and the syllabus has a proposed schedule here, and you can see most of the modules in the class are 2-week modules. And here's our first module for the class. You can see weeks 1 and 2, and it is covering objects, object-oriented programming in Python. So, want to cue you in to the fact that now we have a CSC-120 class where the students will actually get a little introduction to object-oriented programming before they come into CSC-121, the Graphical Python class that you're in now. So I'm going to show you how to get to that object-oriented material that the folks taking CSC-120 have, in case you want to review it, or in case you took CIS-115 and haven't seen any object-oriented material. That's okay. We developed this class with the assumption that you don't know anything about objects, but I feel like I want to show it to you so that you can go out there and take advantage of that material and videos if you want to see what the folks that are coming through now get exposed to with object-oriented programming. So let me open up yet another window here, and I will take you into that material. If you go to https www.rccit.com/CSC120/ so there's where I'm going, rccit.com/CSC120 and another slash. When I hit that, okay, this is the site for the Computing Fundamentals class. And if you scroll down to number 13, here's the object-oriented programming material. The object-oriented programming material. And you can see it's one of the last things that they do in that 120 class. And so I can pop into this and you can see the material. I developed all this material myself. So there's a little button that says go to the next page down at the bottom. Once you're finished reading this, you can go to the next page and see and just keep reading the material. And I actually have some videos out there on YouTube in my YouTube channel, which you can take a look at, or we'll take a look at here in a moment. So this is that textual material on that the folks taking the CSC 120 class will be seeing nowadays. Let's go to the YouTube channel just so you can kind of see what's going on in YouTube here with that. So here's my YouTube channel. You can get to that by just typing in a search, Ken Clifton RCCC, and it'll bring this up for you. So the video that wanted to point out to you is right here. It says CSC 120 Object Module 7 Object-Oriented Programming, right here where I'm mousing. So this is a video that covers that material that I was just showing you. It's the lecture that the students taking CSC 120 will be doing. I think there's actually 2 parts to it. Yeah, that's part 1, or excuse me, that's part 2. This is part 1. So I think it's about 2 hours of video out there that goes through what the folks taking CSC 120 see in their Module 7 now. So that might help you get up to speed on objects a little bit more. But again, in this 120 class, or excuse me, the CSC 121 class, we don't really assume that you have seen this material. I'm showing it to you in the event that it might help you, get a little bit more exposure to objects if you haven't taken CSC 120. So where's the playlist for this class, the CSC 121 class? Here's my YouTube channel. You click on playlist, and here it is in sequence, Graphical Python in sequence. So you'll see this video that I'm making right now, along with all the other videos for the class. So if you click in here, it'll start playing all of them. So that's the YouTube channel. for this class. I'm kind of checking a list here to make sure that I don't miss something that I wanted to talk about. So we've already talked about the Qt5 Tool Kit. In Tawny, Tawny doesn't come with that automatically, but if you took the CIS-115 class or the CSC-120 class, you probably already have that installed in Tawny. Just so you know, Tawny comes with Python built in, so Tawny's always being updated because they're constantly updating Python. And so if you want to get Tawny, Tawny is the editor that we use to write Python programs. If you go to tawny.org, you'll see the information, and you can see right now that the current version of Tawny is 3.3.13. 3.3.13. And there's a link to download it for Windows or Mac. Now, if you watch this video 2 weeks from now, the version might be 3.3.15 because they're always updating this. So that's how you can get Tawny. Once you've got Tawny installed, you may need to update the Py Qt5 Tool Kit. You may need to update that toolkit or install it. So I'm going to open up Tawny and show you a reminder of where you go to do that. You click on Tawny. Now, depending on how fast your internet connection is, this could take 15 to 20 minutes because the Py Qt5 Toolkit is big. But in Tawny, if you go to Tools and then Manage Packages, it's the top link there, or top button under Tools, Manage Packages. This is our little package manager in Tawny. You can type in Py Qt5 into the search box and then hit Find Package from PY. Okay? And there it is. And you can see that I've already got it installed. In Windows especially, if you need to upgrade it, there'll be a button here that says Upgrade, okay, where I'm mousing right now. So you can click the Upgrade button. If you don't have an Upgrade button, then that means you don't have this installed, and you'll want to click the Install button. So this will put the Py Qt5 Toolkit onto your Tawny program where it's incorporated into Python, and you'll be able to do the graphical programs that we start doing in Module 2 of the class. So Module 1 is on objects, so you don't necessarily have to have Py Qt5 the first 2 weeks of class, but you'll need it for absolutely sure by the 3rd week of class. So I've showed you how to go get it. As a reminder, Tools, Manage Packages, type in Py Qt5 into this box, hit Find, and then Install. Or Update if you need to update it. Okay? So that's the Python editor that we use to write programs. Remember, Tawny includes Python. A lot of our newer Apple computers, and of course I'm running Linux here, but if you have a computer like an Apple or a Linux computer, about probably 60% of the code that makes OS X or Linux is Python code. And so to keep from getting the Python that we use in this class mixed up with the Python that's in your Mac or in your Linux computer, Tawny keeps that separate. And so that's a good reason for using Tawny, because it creates its own virtual environment of Python, and you can use it there. So one other thing to mention here, if you are an early college student in Cabarrus County, they may have issued you a Chromebook. If you've got a Chromebook, then you can't really use Tawny or Python on that Chromebook. If you're an early college student in Rowan County, they give those students not Macs. They give them iPads with keyboards. So if you're a Rowan County early college student, you can't use Tawny either. So we have a way that you can do that. You've got two options if you don't have a PC or a Mac. Okay? First option. Email me, Ken Clifton at rccc.edu, and I can send you a form that you can fill out and request a NetLab account. NetLab is a big server that we have at RCCC that lets students remote control a computer at RCCC. Remote control a Windows PC at RCCC. I have already installed Tawny and I've already installed Py Qt5 on that server for NetLab. So you have everything you need there. All you've got to do is remote control it. So you can get a NetLab account and you can remote control a computer. The disadvantage to having to remote control a computer is it's a little bit slower, and you've got to have internet. If your internet is spotty or dropping or whatever, then obviously trying to remote control something is not going to work too well. So you got two challenges there. Number one, it's a little bit slower. It's not bad. It works pretty well, actually. But you've got that little bit of lag because you're remote controlling another computer, and you've got to have a decent internet connection. So the other option is you can go to the navigation station at RCCC, and they do have some loaner laptops that they can loan folks. So you can check out a loaner laptop. The challenge with the loaner laptop is you're going to have to go to the IT department and get them to install Tawny because they've got those things locked down pretty tight. So you'll have to get them to install Tawny. You'll have to get them to install Py Qt5 because they have got those laptops locked down tight. Okay? So just know that if you're gonna go the loaner PC from RCCC, you need to make sure that you go ahead, sign into that loaner PC up there at the IT department and get them to unlock or to install Tawny and Py Qt5 in Tawny for you so that you can do your work. So that's a little bit about the editor, Tawny, and the Py Qt5 Tool Kit that we use to write our graphical programs in the class. So the syllabus has got the schedule, it's got the grade weighting, it's got the items that are required for you to have to do the class. This is the textbook right here. And you can get this book a variety of ways. Let's just click on this link for the textbook and see what they're saying at the bookstore. I may have to go in and actually search here for the textbook. So let's just see CSC-121. Okay, well, let's see. right here. There's our textbook. You can see that the bookstore is selling a paper copy for $65. They're selling an ebook for $48. Now there is another way to get this textbook aside from going through the bookstore. You can see this price here is $48. I think actually Amazon has this book for a pretty good price as well. Let's take this ISBN number off of the syllabus, and I'm going to open up Amazon and give that a whirl here. Gonna say I want a book, and I'm gonna paste that ISBN in and search, and let's see if we find anything. I know I had this book showing up a little while ago, so let's just let's search on the title and see what's going on with this. I'll just search on that much, the cookbook. So let's go here. Right here's our book, and you can see there in Amazon, Qt5 Python GUI Programming Cookbook. That is our book by B.M. Harwani. Okay. You can see a price for the paperback is $49. There's a Kindle version for $29. So you can see that you can get a Kindle version of the book, an ebook version for a Kindle for $29, and the actual publisher is Packet Pub. Let's see if we can go to their site here, and I will put some of this in a. I may actually already have it on an announcement in the class as well. Right here it is from the publisher. You can see that the publisher is selling the ebook for $39. So it looks like Amazon's about $9 cheaper. So I've given you a couple different ways to find the book that are cheaper. Even this is cheaper than what the textbook site here at RCCC is selling it for. So, of course, if you're using financial aid to pay for the book or a Pell Grant or whatever, then, you know, obviously if you run it through your Pell Grant or your financial aid, then you're going to have to use the college bookstore. So anyways, that's the textbook and 3 different ways to get it. I showed you a way to get it from the RCCC bookstore, showed you a way to get it through Amazon, and I showed you a way to get it directly from the publisher. So, now that we know about the book, you can see this is talking about the software for the class and the computer hardware, and I've told you how if you've got a Chromebook or an iPad, how to get a NetLab account. And remember, email me if you want a NetLab account, and I'll send you the form so we can go ahead and request that. So this is talking about the software for the class and recommended USB flash memory. So that's the requirements. What else do you need to do the first week of class? Well, if we pop back here into Blackboard, I'm going to leave that page. Okay. let's go in and look at the assignments here for a second. Okay, I clicked on course content. Okay, and after you've done the stuff in course orientation, the icebreaker quiz, getting Tawny if you need it, adding Py Qt5 to Tawny that I just showed you, look at the testing policies, then you can go back to the course content and come down into Module 1. Remember, if you've done the EVA, you can see Module 1. Now, some of these things are readings, and some are actually things for you to do. Obviously, this quiz is something you have to do. There's when it's due, okay? Now, sometimes I do typo things here on this module assignment summary, so a lot of you know how to go in and look at Blackboard to see if Blackboard is giving us the right dates, or if I keyed in the right dates here. And so I'll show you that in a second. Looks like this is a reading material here, icebreaker quiz, and it's got that. And then down here it says icebreaker is due September 5th. So I'm going to fix this where this doesn't say assignment icebreaker, it just says read the syllabus. But let's go in and look at Blackboard and get Blackboard to tell us when things are due. So I'll click on course tools, click on calendar. These things that are showing up on the calendar are actually coming from the due dates that are set in Blackboard. So you can see that I've got this. If you point to this and click on it, it'll tell you the Getting to Know You assignment in the discussion board is the first thing that's due in our class, and it's due on Thursday, September 2nd. Thursday, September 2nd, right here. Okay? So that's the Getting to Know You assignment, the discussion board. Then right here on Sunday, September 5th, you've got the icebreaker quiz that's due. And also on Sunday, September 5th, you've got Project 1 that's due. So I've shown you two ways that you can check the dates in there. Where is the discussion board item to do? Right here, discussion board. Getting to Know You. I want to point out this stuff in yellow that shows how many points you get on this graded assignment. You get a homework grade for doing the discussion board assignment, and you can see you get 20 points if your post mentions your academic goals. You get 20 points if your post mentions your professional goals. You get 20 points if your post mentions your experience with taking internet courses. So you can see 20 times 5 adds up to 100. That's where your grade comes from. So click on Getting to Know You in there. You can see that I've already put my introduction out there. So you can go in here and where it says thread actions, you will, or excuse me, not thread actions, this button right here that says create thread. When you click on that, it'll let you create your post for your discussion board. So create a thread and introduce yourself to the class. Do the icebreaker quiz and then get started on the object-oriented programming material. Where is that found? Right here. Module 1, Objects in Python. Scroll down. You can see here's a video to help you get up to speed on object-oriented programming. So that's where things kick off. Remember, I also showed you if you wanted to watch the stuff that the folks are now seeing in the introductory classes, you can watch that as well, but you don't have to. I'm just showing it to you in case you think it might help you better understand objects. So that's the introduction to the class. want to welcome you to RCCC. We're excited to have you in the Graphical Python class. Some of my YouTube videos for this class have got over 6,000 views now. There are people all over the world watching the videos. Some of the more popular ones are on threading and showing images and things. So really neat stuff in Python. I think you'll enjoy the class, and look forward to seeing you if you're in one of the classes that has a meeting, and check in Blackboard to make sure this one that I'm showing you right now does have a scheduled meeting for the class. And remember, you can get to that link to join the meeting with Microsoft Teams right here, the checklist for week 1. There's a link to join that meeting if you're in a class that has meetings. So, good luck, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the class. Thanks.